Dr. DePass, back with Starfish. We are on page 114. Dear Stranger. Dear girl who tapped me on the shoulder, what made you think it was okay to take a photo of me without my permission just because I don't look like you? What if someone took photos of you showing everyone what makes you different? What part of you would you want to hide? Do you think it's funny to make another person feel like less of a human? P.S. You must feel kind of bad about yourself if you feel good when you hurt someone else. P.P.S. Sorry I stole the memory card. That was wrong of me, no matter what you did. Taking a stand. It's been a quiet week at school, so I should have known something was coming. On Friday, when I go to my locker before heading to the library, I find a picture taped to it. It's my head, photoshopped on a whale's body. I tear it down, ball it up, and throw it at Marissa hard. Wham! I'd aimed for her head, but it hit her heart. Where her heart would be if she had one. She just snickers and walks away. And then, as if that weren't enough, enemy number 3 decides to start his old lunchtime routine of slamming his back against the hallway wall as if I take up all the room. Get back! Make room! Thar she blows! But instead of lowering my head in shame, I hold my head up high and lock eyes with enemy number 3 until I'm standing in front of him. You think you're funny, I tell him, but you're just plain old mean. Maybe I can't stop you, but I can at least make you look me in the eye every time you do it, and I will from now on. As I walk away, I realize I've been starfishing, starting to claim my right to take up space in this place. Making a difference. Doc wouldn't approve of me throwing stuff at Marissa. Oops. But I think she'd give me a giant thumbs up for how I confronted enemy number 3. I'm not the best at math, but even I know that 1 out of 2 isn't bad. Then I noticed Miss Boardman in the hallway too. Come with me to my classroom for a minute, Ellie, she says. Miss Boardman motions for me to have a seat. I flop down at a desk and we both stare at my hands shaking. And we both stare at my shaking hands. Confrontations aren't easy, she says. I'm sorry some students make school hard for you. I know it takes lots of strength to face them. I think you're brave. You're a great writer and have a way with words. I hope you'll keep using your voice to share your point of view, to show others what it's like to walk in your shoes, and maybe they'll feel empowered to stand up to their bullies. Her words make me feel better. Today I face my bullies, and maybe I can show other kids that it can be done. Permanently altered. I think Mom's changing when she rips the latest weight loss articles off the fridge, but then I see she's only making room for bariatric surgery success stories. Ugh. I guess it doesn't matter that my sister, my Aunt Zoe, her sister, my Aunt Zoe, almost died from bariatric surgery. Or that I'm only 11, almost 12. According to most doctors, you need to be at least 14 to have weight loss surgery. But if Mom wants me to have it, she'll find a way. I realized that today with the article she found about a 12-year-old who had it, and oh my gosh, even a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. 5 years old? 2? Their bodies cut open and permanently, surgically altered just because they're fat. My aunt, despite the risk, decided to have the surgery. Just about everything that could go wrong did. I still remember sitting by her bed, holding her cold hands and listening to a machine breathe for her. She survived after 6 weeks in the ICU. How could Mom risk putting me through all of that? Swarmed. Sharks usually attack when a whale is alone or distressed. The sharks at school swarm around me the day I break a desk in math class. First, the desk legs slowly spread apart, like the legs on a cartoon horse after a fat cowboy saddles up for a ride. I struggle to escape, but I'm stuck. With the final creak of the bending metal and a crack of the wood, the desk and I crumble to the floor. I am a sea turtle on its back, trying to get out of the rubble, trying to get up, trying to will the earth to open up and swallow me whole. The shark circles sink their teeth in, take turns biting with laughter and words. Splash broke a chair. Dude, that was metal. Collapsed like a soda can. Poor desk didn't stand a chance. Metal and wood cut into and jabbed my stomach, sides, back, and legs. It hurts to breathe. Help me. Somebody. Please. They just keep laughing. Screwed. It's like Moses with the Red Sea as Mr. Harrington parts the crowd. What is going on in here? My math teacher sees me, frees me, and stretches his hand towards mine. And none of you were kind enough to help? As if one person could help her up, says someone. As if one fire department could, says another. Mr. Harrington makes big circles over his head like a cowboy winding up a lasso. Detention for all of you, everyone groans. He examines the desk, says a bad word under his breath. Who took the bolts off the screws? More detention for y'all if this person who did it doesn't start talking. Courtney raises her hand. Guilty. Math question. What's the probability of Marissa not being the one to tell Courtney to do it? A round of applause. My jaws clench so tight, I think my teeth will crumble in my mouth like damp chalk. Marissa laughs, mouths, blubber belly. I lunge forward. Mr. Harrington steps in front of me. Walk away, Ellie. His voice booms again. Courtney, principal's office. A few people clap as she struts down the aisle and out the door. Best prank ever. No more comments. Mr. Harrington eyes the room. Let's make that 2 days of detention. Want to make it 3? Keep talking. Silence. Does that mean they agree, or they're afraid to defend me, or they just don't want more detention? I'll never know. I'm disappointed in all of you, he says. Even if you didn't remove the chair bolts, you knew someone did. So you're just as responsible for what happened. You should have spoken up. History books are full of horrible things happening because people sit back and do and say nothing. To you, what happened today's okay because it wasn't you being bullied. But one day it could be. Remember that. No ignoring it. My eyes zoom in on the picture frame on the math teacher's desk. There's a photo of Mr. Harrington, his wife, and their little daughter, who's not so little, eating watermelon and celebrating the 4th of July. His daughter smashes her whole face into the red flesh of the fruit, juice dripping from her chin, stray seeds sticking to her chubby cheeks. So that's why he stood up for me. Mr. Harrington motions for me to join him in the hallway. Call someone to pick you up, go home, and have a good cry. When you come back on Monday, pretend like this never happened. Just ignore them. Mr. Harrington, you're a math teacher. What's the probability of that changing anything? I start to walk away, but turn back. And I hope you never tell your daughter to just have a good cry and ignore bullies. She deserves better. You're right, Ellie, Mr. Harrington calls out after me. She does deserve better, and so do you. Maybe better advice might be to spend your energy focusing on what and who makes you happy, instead of focusing on fools who don't like you for whatever reason. Brace, brace, brace. Me. Today can't get any worse. Universe. Challenge accepted. When I sit down to dinner, Liam starts in as he smears butter on an ear of corn. Splash broke a chair in math class today. Of course he knows about my humiliation. He's friends with Marissa's brother. Like a passenger on a nose-diving plane, I brace for impact. But then I decide to speak up. I do know my worth. It wasn't like that, Liam, and you know it. Were you? One row of corn gone, lip smacking, or were you not? Second row gone, lip smacking, on the floor in math class. Third row gone, lip smacking. You know I was set up, I shout. Can't we send her off to some fat camp or make her have surgery or something? Now Liam's talking with a mouth full, spraying corn bits across the table. I'm sure you wish I'd never been born. Well, guess what? I wish that about you. Ellie, Mom doesn't finish her sentence. Inside my head, I finish it for her. You're a big old fat thing. Anise looks at me with sad puppy eyes. Pity. Perfect. Stop it. Dad bangs his tea glass down on the table like a judge with a gavel, calling for order in the court. His hands form. Here's the church and here's the steeple. He gives me all of his attention. Sometimes I can't tell if that's a dad thing or one of his psychiatrist moves. What happened? Just like a writer, I tell the story of what Marissa and Courtney did, except I realize the story doesn't have an end. Not yet. And so that's where we'll stop. We'll come back with No Love.